Impala Films presents Haunted, the audio drama. Season 2, Episode 5, Presque Vu, Part 3 of 4, written by Benton Hodges.
My head. Oh, too loud. Way too loud. Need water. Oh, thank God. Where the hell am I? And why am I wearing a backpack? Right. What is this? Is this my room? Blinking against the sheer brightness of the LEDs, I took sparing glances across my room. Except it wasn't my room in Greenvale, nor was it my hotel room. Movie posters hung from the walls, fairy lights swinging from the shelves covered in heavily thumbed supernatural books. A small flat-screen monitor was nestled in the corner. No, this was my bedroom at my old house, back in London. Oh, stop. Oh, you must stop that, please.
Ah, there you are.
Yep. Where exactly?
When did you get in? I didn't hear you come in last night. Goodness, you smell like a brewery.
Yeah, I don't feel so great either. When did we get here?
Well, you tell me. I thought you were staying at Dan's.
What?
Abigail, how much did you drink? Don't tell me you blacked out.
I didn't think I did. Where's James and Dan?
James? Is that one of Dan's friends?
Mum, what are you on about?
Well, I don't know who you hang out with these days.
James Hunter.
From your books?
Mum, don't mess with me.
What?
I know they put you up to this. They're pranking me, aren't they?
I have no idea what you're on about, dear. Do you think you can keep breakfast down, or shall I get you a bucket?
I'm fine, Mum. Do you just mind getting me some water?
OK, dear.
As soon as my mum turned away, I shut my door and darted into the room and straight into my bedside table where my phone rested. How drunk was I to be driven here and put in a perfect time capsule? The attention to detail was impressive as my phone's calendar was set to 2018, but it was my most recent phone. I traded up years ago. Stranger than that, and it may have just been a trick of the light, but I swear there was a flash of silvery light behind my mum's eyes.
Hello, you've reached the voicemail of James Hunter. I can't answer the phone right now, but leave me a message and I'll get back to you.
Ha ha, very funny. The calendar was a nice touch, but aeroplane mode is off now, so my phone will be reverting in any minute. So don't even try and be all smug in a few minutes. I connected the Wi-Fi at my dad's house again. I reloaded the BBC News homepage. As funny as the prank was, I couldn't deny the gnawing in my stomach, which became a bottomless pit when the page loaded with 2018 news. Oh, shit.
Hello, you've reached the voicemail of James Hunter. I can't answer the phone right now, but leave me a message and I'll get back to you. I've left a message with Harry vis-a-vis Ratman, but it may take some time. He's a very busy fellow.
What now, then?
Dare we continue the crawl?
Look who's finally getting into it.
No. I'd just rather be out of Southend as soon as physically possible. Come on, number 7 down the hatch.
Are we still doing Hadley Castle?
Is it worth the risk? We've heard Bells, Genius Loci, and now potentially Ratman. What's the local legend?
A drowned milkmaid.
Wow, Mum! Also, there are rumours of a dark, dog-like monster.
If we've heard the Bells birthday singing and we saw Ratman's waist, should we really be tangling with a dark monster or a milkmaid's ghost?
Hey, I wouldn't mind tangling with a milkmaid's ghost.
Wait, what? We have no idea what we're up against here, Dan.
Look who's suddenly Team Supernatural.
I will always remain Team Skeptical until undeniable evidence stares me in the face. but the streak we are on is certainly alarming. I went a decade without so much as a single supernatural occurrence, and then the signal comes into my life and we seem to meet it at every turn.
Maybe the signal stirred it all up. Made these things come out of the dark.
Could be. Oh, fudge it. Let's go to the castle.
Let me just grab my bag.
Fudge it.
I'm censoring myself for the lovely member of the clergy in our midst.
I'll get the spray.
Perhaps this is the courage of a seventh pint speaking. But I was just wondering, Abigail, if, when I'm not around, your mother ever mentions me. I was asking for a friend.
Oh, really? Who might this friend be?
Well, hey, Dan is the one who called her that acronym. What was it, Dan? You said she's a M-I-L...
Oh, man, I love Fred.
No, it wasn't that. The M stood for mother. It was mother I'd like to...
Dan!
Oh, shit! To fudge.
Dan! You get back here right now!
Ah!
Quietly I paced around my old bedroom, phone pressed against my ear as I tried calling James again. The gravity of my situation was setting in, fast. Oh, come on, James, pick up!
Hello?
Wait, who is this? Carl? What the hell is going on? James said he hadn't heard from Carl in years. What was he doing answering his phone? Okay, Abigail. Maybe you're in the past. This is way too elaborate to be a prank, right? It's March 18th. My birthday is tomorrow, which means... Okay, let's pretend this is the past. It probably isn't good to mess with things, and I definitely shouldn't talk to myself. Well, past myself. And I shouldn't hang around here, just in case. Mum, I'm heading out! Taking a literal step back in time was jarring. Walking the streets of the neighbourhood I grew up in, laying eyes on people who had moved away or houses that had been demolished. Adverts for upcoming films that I've already seen 10 times before. Eyes lingering on me, a hair's breadth longer than they should, as if everyone knew I shouldn't be there. A woman quietly pushed her pram, both her and the baby's head turned ever so slightly to watch me. That baby, it would be 5 now. I crossed the street and made my way to the station, hopping onto the Circle Line and riding it round to Fenchurch. It was 1 p.m, so by this time Evie and her friends should be looking into Ratman. I had to intercept them if I wanted any chance of finding out what happened. That has to be why I was sent back here, right? To find out what on earth happened? Dan! You get back here right now!
What on earth are they up in arms about?
Nothing particularly important. Shall we walk after them? Hadley Castle's barely 5 minutes away.
The more things change. Feels just like before we left London.
Abigail's always been quite cagey with that part of her life. If you don't mind me asking, what actually happened?
Dan got offered a promotion around about the time of her 21st birthday. I think they just drifted apart. It was sad, really. They were good influences on each other.
Oh, from what I've seen, all they do is argue and drive each other up the wall.
I always saw it as them challenging each other. After Dan and her father left, she fell in with a bad crowd. I had to pick her up from the police station once. They say she'd broken into a private property to investigate a ghost story. Picked the lock.
Yeah, she mentioned something similar when I first met her.
I'm sure she left the part out where she told the arresting officer to sit on his own truncheon.
As we rounded the corner, what remained of Hadley Castle came into view. Atop a tall hill was a large turret made of stone, the only remaining turret of the castle. The northern face of it had collapsed over the many years. Besides that, a small amount of the wall, shelter for the defenders, remained. We crested the hill to look down on the topography. Beyond the steep slope of the hill was a long field bisected by a train line. A trio of cows grazed in the field in silhouette. Beyond them, the field continued on into the estuary, and beyond that, the setting sun, casting plumes of pink, orange and gold across the scene. In the distance, the two figures were in full motion, one throwing both insults and objects at the other. Presumably our companions. We made our way over to the board set up for tourism, a cork board covered in facts and tidbits from the historic site. It had been recently graffitied, though nothing esoteric in origin. I wonder if Mark Sucks is an ancient rune. Perhaps I should call Harry.
Forgive my prying, but Abigail said you don't have any friends. How do you know Harry?
Oh, wow. I hadn't really thought about it. It's all so blurry and long ago. Before my little hiatus, he was someone I always called for advice. He was dependable. At first, it was for information. Then I guess he became a voice of reason, someone to bounce ideas off of. I met him at a conference on symbology. Someone was at the front telling the most outrageous story about pagans they'd encountered, and proof of aliens found in some cave. It was all very silly, but he was bulletproof to any criticism, until Harry stood up and disassembled his points one by one. It was amazing. I always found it enthralling to listen to someone who truly knew their stuff through and through. That passion for knowledge, like yourself. But Harry, he gets ahead of himself, and he goes on 100 tangents, but it's all just knowledge spilling out. I approached him and asked him to look at some symbols I'd hit a brick wall on, and he gave me a clear answer like that. We stayed in touch after. He was too useful not to. Carl hated him. He hated anyone who could prove him wrong. Plus he had a good taste in music. Always made a joke about this one song that,
What is it?
One of those cows is gone.
What?
The field, there were 3 cows grazing, but one of them's gone.
Well, maybe Abigail and Dan scared it off.
To where it's an open field. I turned to the source of the noise in the thick brush behind Cheryl. It was hard to make out from the fading light, but a dark shape moved between the leaves and between the foliage. 2 unmistakable red eyes boring into my own. Cheryl, don't turn around.
What?
Just don't turn around, please. The colour left Cheryl's face, leaving her paler than alabaster as the leaves continued to crunch. The dark figure, no more than 30 feet away, continued to displace the foliage, stretching up to its full height. Black fur mattered, and those crimson eyes. It took all my willpower to tear my eyes away and stare at the dirt. Ah! Oh! Get off me, you big lug!
Oh, isn't he a cutie? What's his name?
Zeus. Fitting name for a Doberman.
Not exactly cow-sized, though, is he? Who's a good boy?
No. Perhaps these pints are starting to get to me. Well, go on, boy. Shoo. Be gone. Back to your own.
Are you guys all right?
Yes. Just accosted by Clifford's bigger brother. Why do you reek of cow manure?
Don't ask.
I won't. Let's go, shall we? You both need to change, though. Oh, that's burning my eyes.
Are you all right, Mum?
Yeah, I'm fine, dear.
Did you see the trailer for Infinity War? Oh, mate, it looks sick.
Yeah, I saw the links for that online. Apparently, everyone's in it.
Oh, spoilers, man. I just want to see Thanos.
You're not supposed to be here.
Excuse me?
This is first class. You only bought a regular ticket.
Oh, sorry. Right, how many stops to Lee? The train pulled into the station and I hopped off, making my way to the 7th stop to catch them. It didn't take long to spot them once I nestled myself into a booth in the corner of a pub. I went to get a drink but swore I saw that strange silvery glow from behind the bartender's eyes. He muttered something under his breath. I quickly went back to my booth to watch Evie's friends. They were loud, 20-somethings, and obviously quite tipsy, ordering 8 pints. The dynamics of the group were pretty obvious from a mile off. The group joker, the quiet one, the leader, the lightning rod, who fancied who and who didn't quite get along. They bantered and laughed for almost an hour, the girls rolling their eyes at one of the guys' crude jokes. In truth, it was hard to watch. Seeing the results of a tragedy is hard enough, but to see it beforehand? To know what is going to happen? They got up to leave, displaying the light and heavy weights as some teetered to the door whilst others laughed. A few of them nodded and agreed. Hadley Castle. The police discovered that they never made it to 8, so something must happen between them.
4 ghost juices. Boom! I told you there would be one.
Oh, still ooh.
I won't lie, you've all surprised me by even making it to number 11. I expected you to be unconscious, Dan to be going, I love you guys so much, and you to be partying it up Reverend style. Well done, you've all had one James Hunter breakfast. Cheers.
Hey!
Only one more to go until we're all sent back in time.
Where would you all want to go?
If I could choose, like just one place.
Yeah.
I guess I would love to see the Library of Alexandria before it burned down.
Fairy snuff. What about you, Abs?
Oh, I've got 2. I'd want to be on the plane with D.B. Cooper. I want to know what happened.
He parachuted into a tree and went splat.
And what's the second one?
Go back and stop George Lucas creating Jar Jar Binks. Or just stop the sequel trilogy. Or the Han Solo movie.
Yep, that's good.
And what about you?
Is it Terminator rules, or is it like it's already done and you're just doing it because it's been done?
It was your question.
Oh, fine, yeah. It's Terminator rules. I'd go for the classic, kill baby Hitler.
What about you, Cheryl?
Mum?
Sorry, I was a million miles away.
Where would you go if you could go back in time?
I don't know.
I hear something quite contentious supposedly happened 2,023 years ago in Bethlehem.
Yeah. Sorry. I think that last pint got to me.
Are you... Oh, sorry, that's Harry. Let me take this.
Using a shortcut I'd learned from chasing Dan, I beat the drunken group to the hill that led up to the castle. A gate was fixed across the way to stop cars from driving up. With only a few minutes to spare, I grabbed some of the chains from a nearby display and wrapped them around the bolt for the gate. Ducking behind some foliage, I remained within earshot as they came closer.
What's wrong?
Change shot.
Maybe it's closed.
It's a public location, it can't be closed.
Unless it's, like, dangerous. Like there's wolves.
There aren't wolves in Britain.
Badgers, then...
Alright, let's just go pub 8.
Aha!
Or we could just hop it. It's like 4 feet.
Yeah, but it's probably been chained for a reason.
Oh, what's wrong, Nancy? Scared of a few badgers?
Ugh, fine.
Damn it!
I'll catch up, guys. I need to throw this away.
They're coming to get you, Nancy. The badgers are coming to get you.
Just throw it in a bush.
That's how forest fires start?
Oh, it's a tiny joint. It's not going to ignite a forest this green.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realise failing your first year of social sciences made you an expert in forest fires.
Oh, sorry. What are you doing at uni? Oh, that's right. You took a gap year to hunt ghosts.
Fuck it. Evie, wait!
Jesus, were you hiding in that bush?
Kinda, yeah.
And how do you know my name?
Give me a minute. Okay, yeah, look, there's no rational explanation. Okay, but look, you like supernatural films, right? This is like the bit in the film where the character seems like a raving lunatic, but they're actually trying to save you and you just need to believe them.
Okay, it's gonna look like I'm reaching for my phone to call the police.
Wait, please! Look, I finished the pub crawl and the stories are right. You do go back in time.
Hundreds of people have done the crawl and not gone back in time.
I'm from the future. I swear, and I can prove it.
Well,
Okay. Drawing a blank on how to prove it, but I know you and all your friends' names.
well done. You can use Facebook like a creep.
Wait. That joint. Who did you buy it off?
Mike got it off some random dealer.
It tasted weird, right? It's angel dust, or it's laced with it. They found traces of it on all of you. That's why the testimonies were all disregarded.
Testimonies of what?
You need to get your friends and go to Pub 8 now.
Why?
I don't know how much I can tell you without fucking everything up, but... Oh no.
What's happening?
We need to get them now!
It's Harry, I need to take this. Harry, how are you?
Always the better after receiving a mysterious call from Mr. Hunter.
Sorry for keeping it so brief. Oh, it's hard to think straight after 11 very strong pints.
Doing the paranormal pub crawl, perchance?
Ain't nothing gets past you, Dr. Batman.
It's Professor now.
Oh, fantastic. You made tenure. Congratulations.
Thank you. I did a paper on contemporary runes. I think you may know the subject.
The Porum photo.
The very same, but that was far more difficult to decipher than what you sent me earlier.
Well, that's a relief. What is it? Our resident reverend thought it might be Mesopotamian.
She's not wrong. It's a symbol of a Mesopotamian deity, or more specifically, a Sumerian symbol of such a deity.
Right. Any specific creature?
At first glance, I was going to say it was the symbol that suggests summoning or binding of Ninkilim, the Sumerian deity. Ninkilim was, as they put it, the lord of teeming creatures. But I noticed the sunlight on a few of your photos. It might be a tall ask, but did you happen to know if all those symbols were facing west?
Now that you mention it, there's a possibility, yes. Let's see, all the entrances ran perpendicular to the coastline, so yes.
Such configuration would suggest warding rather than binding. Your potential graffiti artist may have a degree in sacred geometry, and in their mind was warding against Ninkilim.
Well, such symbols were found at the supposed haunting grounds of the Rat Man of Southend.
Oh my god, where do they come up with this nonsense?
Preaching to the choir, Harry, my friend. Though I do have some strange stories to fill you in on next time we meet.
Oh no, don't tell me that idiot Preston has been filling your head with ideas.
Oh, you've spoken to him recently.
Yes, he tried to name drop you to me to get me to provide a testimonial for some ancient cave drawing nonsense.
And?
There was still spray paint on his hands.
The bumbling dolt.
Yes. It's funny you should call. It was almost like the old times.
How so?
That fellow you used to hang around with, that intense fellow, Carl Trevino, he stopped by briefly for a consultation.
Wait, what? What did he ask?
Something fairly benign. One of those symbols that Crowley had been banging on for most of his life. I told him what experts had been saying for years. It's gibberish. He was curious about it in a contemporary sense.
When was this?
About a week ago.
And he visited you in Cambridge?
Yes. Is everything okay?
Yes. Thank you, Harry, thank you. Right, crawl's over.
What?
We have a lead on Carl. He's recently showed up in Cambridge.
We can't stop at the last one, James. It's literally down the road from here.
We have to. Your mother isn't holding up too well. My eyes are fucking killing me. And we've got an early start in the morning.
It's one more pint. It's hardly going to make the difference.
And it's hardly going to change the night. And it sure as poop won't send you back in time. I'm calling a taxi and going to the hotel.
I'll come with you.
There we go. Night's over.
Well, I'm staying. At least I can say that I've done it.
Fine, but drink some water, will you? We have to be up in Cambridge bound ASAP. Dan, are you coming?
Nah, I'll see this one out.
Having your 12th apple juice.
What?
Funny story.
He's been discreetly replacing the pints, haven't you?
Dan!
Oh, come on, it's like so many empty calories.
There it is. Well, at least you have a sober companion to make sure you get home safe. Good night to you both.
Wait, what was the symbol?
Your mother was right, it was Mesopotamian. a symbol for a deity of teeming creatures, though it was placed facing west to ward them off. Right, good night.
Night, dear. Stay safe, both of you.
Apple juice?
It's been a mix of things, some of it alcoholic.
That is besides the point. So I'm the only one who's actually going to finish this crawl?
Yep.
Well, when I go back in time, I'll make sure to call past you a bitch.
Yeah, I deserve that. Okay, down the hatch?
Oh, I hope you don't get a sugar rush. Oh, and I hope you know that apple juice is a laxative, so,
Where are they running to?
The estuary! Evie and I quickly vaulted the gate and ran around the corner to see the chaotic scene. Darkness had begun to fill the fields as clouds covered the setting sun. 3 of Evie's friends had climbed to the various remains of the castle, screaming and desperate to get away from something. The other 4, however, were in a full, breakneck sprint towards the estuary. The tide was fully in, breaking against the boggy marsh. Evie and I sprinted after them, fighting against the pull of the marsh. I could see them desperately looking over their shoulders at some terrifying presence. Suddenly, the furthest forward fell into the riptide with a heavy splash, quickly followed by the other. They struggled and screamed as they were washed out. Slightly ahead of Evie, I reached Jason and held out a hand for him, my foot still rooted into the marsh. Grab my hand!
No! Stay away! It's right behind you! Stay...
No! Evie, help me! Evie? I turned back to Evie, who remained rooted to the spot, staring intensely into my eyes. Her mouth opened, but a voice left her that seemed like it wasn't coming from her mouth.
You shouldn't drink it.
What? Evie, help me for God's sake!
You shouldn't drink it in this cause.
How do you know my... A dull, pale, silvery light erupted from behind her eyes, as if flashlights were fastened to her retinas. As soon as the sickly light fell on my arm, it burnt like nothing I'd ever felt before. Ah!
You've seen too much.
Freeing herself from the marsh, she launched herself at me, still fixing her vision on my arm that seemed to shimmer and burn. Marsh water got in my lungs as she tackled me to the ground. I managed to get her leg free and kicked her squarely off me, launching her backwards. Even free of her vision, my skin still felt like it was seared with a blowtorch. Get off me!
Ah! Help! Help!
As soon as she hit the water, the silvery light faded and her consciousness returned to her. This wasn't the angel dust. Something else was at work here. I ran to the water's edge to offer her a hand, but just before I could grab her, the bank collapsed and I was plummeted into the tide.
Starring Jamie Evans as James Hunter, Isabella Barbieri as Abigail Corbin, and Luke Hunter as Dan Cowell. Also featuring Tess Gustard, Phoebe Elizabeth Royal, Elliot Bigden, Charles Topping, Benton Hodges, Harleen Sahota, David Anthony Green, with David Gardner as Carl Trevino. Haunted, the audio drama, is created by Jamie Evans, with all episodes produced and directed by Jamie Evans and Benton Hodges. Audio engineering by Benton Hodges and Jamie Evans. Haunted is a production of Impala Films and is recorded at Free Sprite Media Studios, with special thanks to Duncan Newham for equipment support. Opening and closing themes by James Crow. Thank you for listening to this audio presentation. Come back next week for the next exciting chapter of Haunted, the audio drama.